Last night, I was privileged enough to watch Roy Jones versus Anthony Showtime Pettis. The fight was decent, and these guys had really good boxing. I also watched Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Steve. The fight was good. These guys had boxing. I was really impressed. I've been a fan of MMA for many years, since 2004, and one thing I've always realized is the lack of boxing. Regardless if it's a Muay Thai fighter or a kickboxer, it's very hard to find boxers in MMA, or at least people with good boxing. Today I'm going to tell you why that is. You see, I've done amateur fighting, and I can tell you the exact reason why you never see good boxers in MMA. It's very rare. Like right now I can only think of a handful, like Alex Pereira, and that's it. Why is that? Well, you see, let's start off with the training. MMA fighters have a lot to focus on, so already they have limited amount of time, limited amount of resources to work on their boxing. It's not very often that they get to just go to a boxing gym and train. The second problem, they never go to a boxing gym and train. You see, MMA has a different culture when it comes to training. They took on the Thais style of training where they do a lot of light sparring when it comes to stand-up, a lot of light sparring. In every MMA gym, they usually go with small gloves, sometimes headgear, sometimes not, and they just switch off partners every round. And they're only going about 50%. The only time MMA guys go hard is like when it's time to fight, the last week of training camp. You see, boxing has a different attitude when it comes to this. In boxing culture, first of all, just to get in the gym, into a respectable gym, you got to get your ass beat time after time and come back so trainers can respect and give you enough credit to train. So the culture is already thrown off. And like Bilal and Joe Rogan talked about right here, boxers don't necessarily like MMA fighters. They still see them as rivals, justifiably so, because, you know, when MMA first came on, they were trying to take boxing spots.
Don't go to that boxing gym. What are you going to go to that boxing gym for? Boxers hate MMA fighters. They're going to just try to knock you out. And, you know, I would sit there, go on my own a little bit, like, you know, let me just see how it is. Because ego, then you go over there and they're just trying to knock you out. And it's like, what did I gain from that? It's just, it's a hard sparring, but it was like, I didn't really gain any skill level. I gained toughness, but it's not really going to help me when I need better footwork. I need better.
There's always been a weird rivalry there. No boxer wants to get beat in boxing by an MMA fighter. So obviously they try super hard and try to hurt the MMA fighters when they come to the boxing. So the guys that you see that are good at boxing, they've done their time and gain respect in the boxing gym. To gain respect in the boxing gym, you have to spar hard and spar off. I mean, 2 times a week, headshot after headshot. Look at Anderson Silva. That's what boxing is about. Hard sparring, always, never light sparring. Reason being is because there's just so few weapons in boxing. You can do a fucking 1, 2, 3, 4. Straight, left, cross, hook. That's it. Nothing more. Move your head a little bit. What makes you extraordinary are those micro moves where you're moving your head a little bit more than the other guy, or you're coming at him at a certain angle, or you're moving a certain way where he can't predict you. All that shit makes a difference when you're sparring hard. That's where all that is. You get an Earl Spence by sparring hard. In boxing, you have to spar hard to limit amount of weapon. And MMA guys don't have that culture, so they never do. They're never willing to get in there with the boxers and really take a lot of punishment. And especially since like MMA, they have a lot of doctors and a lot of staff on, you know, like the UFC has a lot of staff and stuff on board. They warn them about head trauma, so they never want to get into it. So whenever you see a good boxer in MMA, show him some fucking respect, because he put in his fucking time, and he's done it, and he's gotten his ass beat, and he's beating some ass, and that's why he's beating ass in MMA and boxing. Alex Pereira, he spars all the pros. Anyways, please comment, rate, subscribe.